Okay, so we've heard a noise. It's time to investigate. Most of medical emergencies, time is of the essence, but it's very important that we don't rush, that we stay calm and we don't panic. Remember, panicking doesn't help the patient and it certainly doesn't help you. Remember, like all accidents, when we approach a scene of an accident, we have to think danger. We have to look after ourselves. We don't want to become a patient ourselves. As I approach this scene, I'm going to look out. I notice directly in front of me there's a patient lying on the floor. I also notice that there's a ladder beside him. Straight away, visually, I've gauged that this is a fall from height. I don't exactly know the cause of the accident. All I know at this stage is that the patient has fallen. At this stage, I still don't want to enter. I'm not adamant that the scene's safe for me to personally enter. Looking at the patient, I can see there's a cut to his head. I also can see that we've got a power outlet. Okay, so this might involve electricity. What I'm also going to look for is any wet patches on the floor. Remember, if this is an electrical accident, the electricity might still be on. If there's wet on the floor and it touches me, I become a casualty. This is something that I want to be careful. Okay, I'm happy that there's no water on the floor. I'm happy there's nothing above me that can damage or hurt me. It's safe to enter. I'm going to, at this stage, call out to the patient. Hello, are you okay? Okay, the patient at this stage is answering me back, so I know that he's alert, okay? So this is a good thing. Okay.
What happened?
Looking at the patient, I can see that we've got an electrical appliance still near the patient, okay? So the patient at this stage is not safe. I need to make sure that that electrical equipment is turned off. The best way to do this is make sure that you go to the source itself and turn off by the mains. I can see we've got an outlet just over here, okay? It looks fairly old, but there's a switch here, we're going to turn it off. So now the main switch is off, we know that there's no power going to the actual cable itself, okay? So technically the power's off. I'm still going to use precaution. As you can see on the floor, we've got an electric cable almost touching the patient. I don't want to touch that with my bare hands. I'm going to use anything wooden to get rid of this cable. Look out for any wooden objects. It can be a piece of wood. Lucky for me, I've got a wooden broom. Remember, wood is non-conductive. What I'm going to do with my broom is just remove any appliances that may be in contact with the patient that could be an electrical current source. Remember, I've already turned the source off, so there shouldn't be any electrical current running through it. But you always have to look after yourself. Precaution, precaution, precaution. David, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so David's responsive. He's talking to me, so he's not unresponsive. But at this stage, I don't know if David's lost consciousness from the moment of injury to the point that I've approached David. Okay, so I'm still going to bear that in mind. Also, we know David's fallen from a height. I don't want to move David at all. I'm going to keep any movement to a minimal. This is because the mechanism of injury may well have caused David to have a spinal injury. Okay? David, have you got any pain anywhere?
Just a bit.
Whereabouts is the pain, David?
In my head.
In your head? Anywhere else, David? In your back?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, David, can you keep completely still for me?
Okay, yeah, sure.
At this point, if you've got a mobile phone, please call an ambulance. If there's a bystander, get them to call an ambulance as well, okay? So now we know David's got some pain in the head, okay? So we may well have a head injury. Again, we're not going to eradicate any possibilities that he hasn't got a spinal injury. Just because David can't tell me he's got a spinal injury doesn't mean he doesn't have one. So I've got to be careful and cautious and not move David, okay? I'm going to check for the breathing. I'm going to look for the rise and fall of David's chest. I'm going to make sure for any abnormalities, okay? Can I see any abnormal movement in the chest, in the stomach? Look at the rest rate. As we've done in previous videos, put your hand on the chest, look at the chest, count for 15 seconds using a stopwatch, okay, on your mobile phone or use it on your watch. Times this by 4, this will give you the rest rate. It will give you a clear indication if there's any abnormalities happening. What I'm then going to do is go to David's pulse, just check the pulse. Again, look at your stopwatch. I'm going to count to 15, times that by 4, it gives me the pulse. I'm going to check for any abnormalities. I'm going to continually look at David's face, look for any response. David, can you remember falling?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, David, tell me what happened.
Well, something bloody happened.
Okay.
And then I was on the floor.
Okay, David, do you know what day it is?
I think it's Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday.
Okay. David, do you know your date of birth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you tell me, David?
1st of January, 1992.
What you can see me doing is asking David some simple questions. This is to gauge his level of consciousness, okay? Ask him easy to understand questions that you, of course, know the answer to. Because if he's going to say something or the patient's going to say something that's not true, you'll know in an instant their level of consciousness. So we've checked danger, we've checked response, we've checked airway, breathing, and circulation. It's time to keep the patient as still as possible and wait for the ambulance to arrive. A method we can use as first aiders to help keep the patient as straight as possible is by crouching down behind the patient's head, using 2 hands, one hand by the ear, another hand by the other ear. And you're just going to keep their head straight. You're going to talk to the patient at all times. Remember, doctor, A, B, C. You're going to keep reassessing the patient. If the patient becomes unresponsive at any time or starts to stop breathing, you're going to go straight into CPR. Remember, you have a duty of care for the patient. So remember, this is a situation we've devised to give you, the first aider, an idea of how to deal with a patient with emergency situations when coming face to face with an electrical hazard. I've tried to keep it simple so that it's stuff that you can do effectively. Remember, the patient might be talking, he might seem okay, but with every electrical accident, further assessment is required. Remember, internal damage could occur and the patient needs to get it checked out.